Sometimes it's not just people who reject us, but even nature. Think of a tree hopefully awaiting the arrival of spring. But why? How can a single word, a no, inflict such deep wounds on a person's soul? Because being rejected is not just a response. That single word often touches the fears we have carried within us for years. It makes us feel, I'm not enough, I'm worthless, I'm not worthy of being loved. The real pain comes not from what that word says, but from what we tell ourselves through it. To be human is to desire. We want to be accepted, to belong, to feel valued. That's why our minds perceive rejection as a threat. Thousands of years ago, being accepted into a tribe was the only way to survive. Being ostracized meant death. We still carry that primal fear within us. Rejection might not be death anymore, but for the soul, it still feels like devastation. But rejection teaches you to strengthen your inner world against the noise of the outer world. Rejection defines who you are. Imagine a life, an inner balance where your worth is not tied to the words that will come out of other people's mouths, where you stand tall instead of collapsing when you hear a no, because you know that no is not an end. Rejection is not failure. It is an invitation. Sometimes it comes in packages disguised as gifts, because when looked at with the right eyes, every no carries a reason within it, and sometimes that reason knows you better than you know yourself. This idea might sound strange to you at first. It might not be easy to understand how rejection can be a blessing in disguise, but you will see how this philosophy actually provides a solid foundation for your soul. That foundation is a self that doesn't need the approval of others. Open your mind, don't sulk, and don't close your heart to love. Let it always remain open, because the heaviest burden a person can carry is an empty heart. Today, I will introduce you to a wisdom. This video will be very special, and I promise you, when it's over, you won't look at the world with the same eyes again. If you're ready, let's see together how to stand tall in the face of rejection. This is not just a philosophical teaching. It is a thought revolution that shapes the human mind, fundamentally redefining life. Being rejected is just like rain. You can't stop it from raining, but you can choose how to walk under it. You should see rejection not as a threat, but as an opportunity, because every no offers an opportunity to face yourself. But in the mind of the rejected, a rejection amplifies the echoes of the past. It reverberates through the dark streets of thoughts. I'm not enough. What did I do wrong? Thoughts like these come. What hurt you? That word, or your thoughts about it. At this point, it is worth pausing for a moment and reflecting on this saying by Marcus Aurelius. If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. And this you have the power to wipe out right now. Do not see this statement merely as a philosophical quote. This saying is the exit door from the prison that a person builds in their own mind. Most of the time, what creates pain is not the event itself, but the meaning we attach to that event. So it is in our hands to evaluate rejection merely as a response, instead of seeing it as a verdict given about your personal worth. Perhaps it is a call for learning. Perhaps it is a stop sign whispered by the universe for you to turn inward. When we adopt this perspective, rejection no longer becomes an obstacle, but transforms into a test, a challenge. It turns into an opportunity for you to question yourself anew, to develop your inner resilience and to find a deeper meaning in your life. This is not easy. Looking at rejection with different eyes, looking at the pain with awareness, requires dismantling acceptances that have been ingrained in the mind for years. To be able to see rejection not as a personal devastation, but as a spiritual building process is a great gift. And now we come to the most important question: how is this transformation possible? Because rejection comes not to stop you, but to restart you. Perhaps behind that wall lie new possibilities, a world where you will recognize yourself anew, become aware of yourself. If you still doubt, remember the rejections experienced by some people who changed the course of history. Think of Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla. They failed thousands of times. Their ideas were rejected. They restarted countless times. And each time they managed to turn these experiences into a learning process. This saying is striking. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Because what matters is not what happens externally, but how we look at it. Another example is Harry Potter. The book was rejected by publishing houses countless times. Some didn't see the potential in it, but she found a publishing house. Today, millions of people have grown up with her words. This example shows us that rejection is often not an end, but the beginning of something extraordinary. If you know how to approach it, rejection doesn't destroy you, it transforms you. Instead of running away from rejection, are you ready to face it, understand it, and have a dialogue with it? Remember that with every no, not only do doors close, but sometimes directions change. Imagine, what would you do if you had a tool that would allow you to face all kinds of difficulties with serenity? If you could look at disappointments, rejections, losses head on, and simply say, I'm listening, how different would life be, wouldn't it? Now let's look at what we can do to cope with shattering experiences like rejection. How you react to someone rejecting you, what you will feel, how you will think. Can you control this? Absolutely, yes. The disappointment, hurt, anger, or feeling of inadequacy created by rejection. These are winds, they come and go. But you stand tall like a tree whose roots extend deep into the ground. The wind passes, you stay in your place. It is in your hands not to let them knock you down. One of the most important things to do after a rejection experience is to turn to yourself. But not to judge yourself, not to blame or look for a mistake, but to understand and grow. Pay attention to the emotions you feel, because behind every emotion hides a thought. Ask yourself this question: why did I get so hurt? Perhaps there is a belief in your subconscious like this: to be rejected means to be worthless. It is that belief that might be the real thing that hurts you. This inquiry is the beginning of a dialogue you will establish with yourself. Thanks to this dialogue, you will both discover your own weaknesses and realize that you have the power to transform them. And every awareness liberates you a little more, strengthens you a little more. Finally, let's now talk about two applicable practical exercises that bring this philosophy into your life. These are small but impactful steps. First suggestion, daily exercise. Set aside just 5 minutes every night. Review your day. Did you experience a rejection? Did you encounter a challenging situation? How did you react? What did you feel? And more importantly, what did you learn from it? This simple but regular practice allows you to become aware of your feelings and reactions. You learn to be an observer. You start analyzing events without getting caught up in them. This brings clarity and self-awareness. Second suggestion, the rejection challenge. Throughout the next week, face something that makes you slightly anxious. This could be something as small as asking for a discount at a store, or a bigger step, like reaching out to someone you've wanted to talk to for a long time but have been putting off. The goal is not to get a yes. The goal is to confront the possibility of rejection and observe how this fear directs you. Because the things we run away from are often the things we need to transform. We cannot escape our deepest fears, but we can choose how we face them, how we give them meaning. Rejection no longer becomes a terrifying monster. You can turn it into a teacher. Like a silent but steadfast guide, it is there to direct you to a stronger and wiser version of yourself. Because sometimes the universe's teaching methods are complex. Rejection may seem at first glance like a cold, repulsive, and discouraging shadow. But in reality, there is a seed waiting for you under that shadow. That seed is your character itself. Our character is tested when we are rejected. Just like metal forged in fire and shaped by a hammer, we become more durable, clearer, and more solid with every strike. If we choose to learn instead of falling apart, this process will not wear us down. It will make you a stronger, wiser person, more prepared for the challenges of the future. This is about turning every stone in your path into a stepping stone to reach a more mature version of yourself. Maybe the end of a relationship will bring someone who will connect with you on a deeper level, or maybe it will initiate a true confrontation with yourself. And the whole gain is the process of self-recognition. You question what you believe in, what you desire, what values you hold on to, because no one can mature without knowing themselves. In this journey, we have seen together that rejection is neither an end nor a punishment. On the contrary, it is a patient and determined teacher. They're not to destroy, but to guide. And like every good teacher, its aim is not to punish you, but to unleash the potential within you. I invite you to see the other challenges of life as blessings in disguise, because no matter what we experience, what is truly decisive is not the events themselves, but how we look at them. When viewed through a lens, rejection is not a condemnation, but a call, an opportunity for us to look deeper, to turn inward, and most importantly, to rebuild ourselves. Next time you are rejected, try looking at it with new eyes. Perhaps it will appear as a guide whispered to you by the universe. When met with wisdom and courage, rejection can lead you to doors you never expected. It can be the beginning of an unexpected journey where you will discover your own potential, recognize your true strength. Because every difficulty, every obstacle can be the spark you need to ignite growth, not a limit you must overcome. And remember, every difficult moment is the moment when your character is shaped. Therefore, keep your heart and mind open. Greet every day as a new chapter, a new beginning. Because a person is the author of their own story, and even the happiest of stories have a tragic tale within them. Thank you for watching.